everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody is well, and today we've got a really nice video for you today. It's about use of modern day asylums for people with autism as lockdown care, community care collapses. It's from the Huffington Post website, which I'll link down in my video description down below so you can read more about it. So let's get into the video. The government has pledged to cut the number of people in inpatient units, but the number has jumped to 2,100 since August, the new figures reveal. People with a learning disability and autism are being locked in modern-day asylums following a collapse in community care over this lockdown, a charity has warned. Learning disability charity MenCap has said that huge reductions in community social care during the pandemic has left many families at crisis point, and is leading to an increase in the number of people being admitted into assessment and treatment units. There are massive concerns about violations of people's human rights within these inpatient units, said the head of policy Dan Scorer. But a dramatic drop in community support since lockdown, including care in the home, day centres and respite care, means some families looking after a loved one with a learning disability and/or autism are being pushed to their complete breaking point. A survey of family carers by MenCap has revealed that 69% of people with a learning disability has had their social care cut during this current COVID-19 pandemic. A woman in her 50s told a charity how she'd been left caring for her son, who is a strong 26-year-old, for more than 100 hours a week after a loss in community care. She is worn out and exhausted. My son is fully grown with the strength of 10 men. It has left me feeling depressed and forgotten. People with a learning disability and/or autism are some of the most vulnerable people within our society. He added, the families are trying to support someone who's got complex needs. If they don't have this specialist input from professional teams in the community, then their families can enter crisis when they feel they can't cope anymore. And then we have the situation where inpatient admission to mental health hospitals take place. Once admitted to these inpatient units, many people end up staying for years. NHS data has shown that more than half of the people with a learning disability and/or autism in hospital have been there for more than 2 years, which is absolutely ridiculous. MenCap has now called for an urgent funding boost from the government to prevent other families being pushed into crisis. Dan Scorer has said, we need to see central government stepping up and putting into place an emergency funding package and a long-term financial settlement for social care, so local councils have the money they need to develop and deliver proper services that meet people's needs. Meanwhile, Jackie O'Sullivan, the Executive Director of Communications, has said over 2,000 people with a learning disability and/or autism are still locked up within these modern-day asylums. Change was already long overdue, and now COVID-19 has caused even more delays. While the pandemic is in an unprecedented situation, it is no reason to allow human rights abuses to simply continue. A spokesperson for the Department of Health and Social Care has told Huffington Post UK, we are committed to ensuring people with learning disability and autistic people are supported to have the best possible quality of life within their community. We are determined to reduce the number of people with learning disabilities and/or autism in mental health hospitals and have announced a $62 million community discharge grant to help speed up this process. So that is the article in a snapshot for you. And now I'm just going to add some really brief thoughts into how I feel about this. So, yeah, my thoughts is that I agree with the article in general, but I disagree with the fact that people are still being put into mental health hospitals. I feel that, yes, the length of time over 2 years is absolutely absurd and ridiculous. I feel that being put in there is a risk to their mental health because they are assumed that they are too dangerous to themselves or to other people, and therefore the professionals don't know how to deal with us. Also, it's a fact that they feel that we are safer in there than we are out in the community, which I feel is a load of rubbish. I feel that being outside with our family and friends is better than being stuck in the hospital, not being near family, not being near friends. You're going to become more isolated. Their mental health is going to increase. The risk of violence will potentially be increased because they're in a stressful environment where they don't know anybody and they're with professionals who don't really understand their best interests or their health at all, because they're the ones who live with a learning disability and/or autism. So you're going to have increased anxiety, increased violence, and the risk of being given inappropriate medications and inappropriate treatments as well, which again will end up with poor care, poor communication, a breakdown of meltdowns, But again, like I said, it can cause physical health implications, not just the conditions that they already live with, but again, it can be things like blood pressure problems, anxiety, other mental health conditions that could trigger off a serious episode of health implications for them. Also, I think the problem is with being locked in these mental health hospitals or mental health assessment and treatment units is that they don't take our needs into account. We are assumed to be non-capable, non-verbal. We're assumed to be dangerous. And I don't think that's right. Professionals need to put us in our centre of our care. We're the ones that live with it. We're the ones who have to deal with it every single day. They are not the experts, we are. And I feel that by just shutting us in these mental health treatment units, they are failing us. They're failing a lot of people, not just people with autism or learning disabilities, but people with mental health issues, their families, their friends, their carers, people who know what they do on a day in, day out basis. And I think that still to this day being put in mental health hospitals is absolutely outrageous, and I think the government needs to definitely step up more and defend us and help us out, because a lot of government don't understand what it's like to live with a learning disability and or autism. They don't understand the struggles, the sensory overloads, the meltdowns, the shutdowns. They don't understand the comorbid conditions that we may often live with. So it's just things like anxiety, ADHD, bipolar, schizophrenia, all the different issues that can undermine it when we go into a mental health hospital. So we need to be the ones who are involved in our care and given the chance to speak out about what's happening to us when it's happening to us. And yeah, I feel that this article is rather negative, but at the same time it makes awareness that this is still going on and this is not good enough. It needs to stop. It needs to end now, because if it doesn't, we're going to have a lot more people feeling potentially suicidal, a lot more people having deeper mental health issues that don't get taken into account, who get forgotten about or don't have their voice because they feel they're not verbal enough to talk about it. So let me know if you've agreed with me or disagreed with me in the comments down below, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.